All right, here we go. This might be one of my favorite ones just because Piers Morgan is just the absolute goat. Like all day every day, and he went on the Breakfast Club with Charlemagne the God and DJ Envy. And it's probably an hour and 40 minutes or hour and 30 minutes of interview, and most of it is about politics. But there's a good 10-15 minutes in there where they start talking about Meghan Markle and Harry, which is so fun for me. Like, I wish I could say it wasn't fun for me, but it's so fun for me because it just brings up so many conversations. Um, right. So she is mixed. She's got a black parent and a white parent. I believe her dad is white and her mom is black. Um, your mom is white and your dad is black too, right?
Correct.
And my dad is black and my mom is white. So here we go. So Piers goes on the Breakfast Club and they're talking about politics. The whole thing is Trump, the Gaza Strip, whatever. But there's 10-15 minutes in there where it's literally about the royal family and how Meghan and Harry said that they were worried about what color their baby would be. Like the royal family was like, hey, what color is the baby going to be when the baby comes out?
You know they don't get to pick that, right?
Right.
So
But Piers is like, Piers asks, and I love it because I don't dislike Charlemagne. I like Charlemagne a lot. I enjoy him on Brilliant Idiots. I like most of the time he's super fucking fun on The Breakfast Club. This one was a little bit different for me because when Piers asked him a question, he was like, when if you're an interracial couple, right? If you're whatever interracial you want to be, if you're a black dad, white mom, if you're a black mom, white dad, is there conversation surrounding what color the baby will be? I think that's a fair question. I think that's an okay question to ask. But I don't think it has to be based that question is based in like I'm not gonna like it if the baby's too dark, right? I don't I don't think that's a thing.
no, no. I think the questions were like, we don't know what's gonna happen.
I mean, I think the more normal question is like you said before, Jeff, hey, is the baby, gonna come out looking like me or is the baby gonna come out looking like you? Like, is the baby gonna come out looking like the mom or is the baby gonna come out looking like the dad? And that in general is a fair question. I think parents ask that all the time.
Well, true.
So if you were like, I just, I'm not sure, but Charlemagne tried to make it sound like Piers was not right for asking that question. So he was like, when Piers asked it, Charlemagne was, immediately said, hey, I think you should have Dr. Umar Johnson on this show. Now, Dr. Umar Johnson is notorious for saying that, you know, um, yeah, I don't dislike him, but he's notorious for saying that, black couples should be together and white couples should be together, and black men shouldn't date white women, and white women shouldn't date black men. And he and that's not okay. That's his opinion. I'm not mad at that. That's fine.
Same
If that's what you want to do, absolutely fine with it.
preference, really.
Yeah, it's your preference. You can that's fine. Cool. but also when he talks about because he wants to build a black community, it's he wants to build a black school, right, for black kids and to further black education and you know a black city or a black town or whatever to further you know
What does that sound like? It sounds like something to me.
It is. It's Black Wall Street. I forget what it was. What the name
yeah,
was.
right,
Yeah,
okay,
Oh,
so
that
he
is a
wants to
thing.
do that.
it was. Yeah.
And that's fine, but that leads me down another rabbit hole because from what I can ascertain from what he says, if you're mixed raced, you have to present as black in order to be in his school, in order to be in his community, in order to
So what? So no
you
white kids? I'm confused.
Mm-hmm.
no. Well, no white kids, but if like me, I wouldn't be able to. I'm mixed. My dad is black, but because I don't present as black, I wouldn't be able to go to his school. I wouldn't
Because you
I
don't
wouldn't be able.
look black.
Right.
Again, it just sounds like something like really racially pride related or something. It's something. It's weird.
Yeah, I remember what you're kind of talking about.
I don't
But
think it would
no.
work. Okay, whatever. It's fine.
So you would be able to go. I just
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to go.
My brother couldn't go though.
No, your brother couldn't go. Which is and here, let me present the spectrum. Hold on. Let me share this with you. So
Our internet's a little bit.
that's me.
Is it me?
Hold on. Nothing's coming up yet. We're all just loading. Hold on.
Oh,
On
really?
your screen? It looks fine on mine.
Oh, okay. You
Yeah, I'm
guys are
good
good.
on
Okay.
mine. Yeah,
I
we're
was just
good.
loading. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, so there's me, right? The boy in the middle is my nephew,
Mm-hmm.
and the woman on the if you're looking at on the left is my sister. So I present as white. She's a little darker than me, and then she had uh his my nephew's dad is black, and he's a little darker, but is he as dark as Jeff? Like, how are we going down this rabbit hole?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here I got you. Here is. Oh, where is it?
So
It's my brother.
yeah,
Same mom, same dad. Real looking white.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously a different dad, just same mom, but me, same.
right.
Don't know.
So if you're
So they would take. So that school would take Jeff, but would not take his brother.
correct, and that's what Pierce was just asking a question, and it turned into Charlemagne and DJ Envy being like, "Hey, you should have Dr. Umar Johnson on your show."
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm not sure if when they said that Piers knew that it was kind of I don't know if he knew who Dr. Umar Johnson was or if he just knew who he was and was like, "Hey, I'm not going to respond to that." Either way, I think it was the right course of action because it was sarcasm and ridiculousness and a rabbit hole that Charlemagne threw at him.
Mm.
And so he just kept going. And
But but Piers's question, do you feel like it was a genuine question? Or do you feel like it was a sarcastic question? Do
No.
you feel like it was a judgmental question? Like,
no, listen, Piers is a reporter. He's a well-respected reporter from England, who is basically as liberal and DEI, even more so than the United States. Like they're the most liberal. They're kind of like Canada. No gun culture, no any of that, and they're very welcoming to whoever comes, I mean, I think it was a genuine question. When I watched him ask
Mm-hmm.
the question, I thought it was very genuine. I just, hey, what's the baby gonna look like?
Mm-hmm.
I don't, you know what I mean? Like,
I think it was just more like, why does it matter kind of thing? Is that the
yeah,
response?
it doesn't matter. Why should it matter? How do I say this correctly? Whatever, fine. If you're two white parents and about to have a baby and you're expecting a child, you're going to say like, "Oh, I hope the baby looks like the mom. Oh, I hope the baby looks like the dad." And no one's going to give a crap. Not one person is going to care.
Mm-hmm.
If you're two black parents, you're going to be like, "Oh, what's the baby going to look like? I hope the baby looks like the mom. But when it becomes an interracial couple, then it's offensive to ask what the baby's going to look like. Do you think the baby's going to have blue eyes? Do you think the baby's going to have your lips? Do you think the baby's going to have your nose? Then all of a sudden it becomes racist. You know what I mean?
True.
It's the dumbest thing ever. And I feel like Charlemagne, who I really, I still like Charlemagne. Like, I still like his comedy. I feel like he's different on his podcast, Brilliant Idiots, than he is on The Breakfast Club, only because I feel like The Breakfast Club is a very liberal channel where they like make you apologize if you say some dumb shit that they feel, or not dumb shit, but if they feel like it's dumb, they make you apologize for it. So I feel like he had to come at it a certain way, but Piers Morgan is he's such a dude that, you know, if he has an opinion on something, and he'll even say like, I'm super opinionated, and if I'm proven wrong or someone gives me such a good argument, or I can have a awesome debate with somebody and blah blah blah, and he has arguments that I am like, oh shoot, I didn't think about it that way. Maybe I should change my mind. Maybe I should think about it this way. Maybe I should go research something. He'll go do that and be like, my bad, sorry. I changed my mind. Like, that wasn't that, I didn't think that. You know, and it's okay. And I just think there needs to be more people like that. Nobody, even their political arguments when they went down that road, all Charlemagne could come back with when Piers was talking about Trump was Roe v. Wade. That was it. And it's like, hey, the Republicans aren't going to win because of Roe v. Wade. Well, Trump did this, Roe v. Wade. Like, Trump, the other argument that is constantly on everybody's mind is Trump said that when he lost the last election, he said that you know, we should get rid of the Constitution, blah 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 blah.
Oh, did you get rid of the whole thing?
The whole thing.
The whole thing?
The whole thing.
Yeah.
So it was just like, well, Trump's a shithole because of those two things. Is he though?
I also think it goes back to the idea of like, are you just listening to what is being said, or are you doing further research on your own to learn more?
Yeah.
As a woman, hearing that Roe v. Wade was taken away
federally,
but again, like, if you don't do,
but if you don't understand what that means, right?
Yeah, but you just hear Roe v. Wade, a woman's right to choose what she does with her body, it's all taken away. It's all taken away. It's all taken away. As a woman, that's very scary. Yeah. You're taking away, like, for certain women in certain areas, like, they really don't have any rights anyways. And now you're telling me that if, God forbid, you know, like, you and
Something.
I were trying for another baby and the fetus didn't survive, and I was forced to carry a fetus that was not alive, it was dead. That's an infection. That's attacking my body. That could potentially kill me. And you're telling me that I don't have the right to save myself. Like, that is very scary. But if you're unwilling to do more research, if you're unwilling to have conversations with people that can share different types of knowledge with you, every single headline, every single thing, because also media
Doesn't help.
is going to share what that media station is trying to promote. CNN shares different than Fox. You know, every station shares the information that they want to share. So if you only hear it from one side, you're
Yeah,
going to miss the facts on the other side.
I feel like we lost CNN. CNN should be the central voice of reason, and they're not. And I mean, I think they're trying to come back to that. But we really don't have a news media outlet that's the central voice of reason, right? We have to go find it somewhere else. And I went and found Piers Morgan, people, you go find Jason Whitlock, whatever, whoever you find that's like, just, hey, I'm not crazy left. I'm not crazy right. I just, whatever.
Yeah, because it seems like that the taboo now are the people that are trying to be common sense centralists, I guess you could call them.
Yeah.
Where it's like common sense says this, you're saying this, I'm not understanding why you're saying this or where the common sense went. Like, so let's try to meet in the middle, but
But
that's a taboo because you can't be.
The real other thing that Piers said that I loved so much, and I felt like Charlemagne and DJ Envy were left in the dark, is if you don't like Trump, right? Fine, don't like Trump, whatever. But if you turn off his Twitter and you turn off like the crazy shit that he says on whatever, what don't you like after that? After you do that, what don't you like?
Mhm.
It's the same. It's the okay. So here were the examples, and how many illegal immigrants did Trump deport and send home
Mhm.
compared to Barack? Barack had 8 years.
Mhm.
He deported 3 million people. Trump definitely didn't deport 3 million people.
In 4
Wasn't
years.
even half of that in
Mhm.
4 years.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? There's so there were so many things that he did he had a way of talking to Russia, a way of talking to China, a way of it was the other argument. How many bombs did Trump drop while he was president compared to Obama? None.
Mhm.
None. He just had a way of talking to people that they didn't talk shit back.
Yep.
And everybody else, it's like, well, we're going to test you. We're going to fuck with you and see what you do. And Trump, it wasn't like that. You might not like his delivery. You might not like the way he says things. You might not like the fact that he doesn't put his arm around you and tell you that, you're his favorite.
Mhm.
But it wasn't like he wasn't looking out.
Mhm.
No, it wasn't great. Like some of the things he did wasn't great and some of the things were shitty. But also too, like the economy was okay. The border was okay.
Yeah, it goes back to that.
We weren't at war.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah, I mean,
how much money can we waste building a wall? Well, did he run? He ran on that. Yeah, I'll go with that. Was he okay? Fine, but he got us out of the environmental, and then the whole NATO thing. I guess I can go with. So if you want to go with money for the wall, sure, probably weird. Or we could have just had more border agents. Yeah, all right, fine. I mean, I would just say at this point, now my thing is the NATO thing is probably all of that. They were, he made NATO, all of the people that were, all of the countries in NATO had to pay that 2% or 3% or whatever it was, and it wasn't just going to be the U.S. paying it. And now like Australia is getting ready. Like there's just all of our, Japan's getting ready. Everybody's getting ready at this point. And at least like that was his. I don't know. Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess we can waste money building a wall. I don't think we need a wall. I think we just need to. I don't know. I don't know about that. But there has to be a big discussion on open borders. Because we can't. I know in New York we can't handle it anymore.
No,
Right?
from what
Like our kids can't
From
even
what-
get to school.
yeah, from what
At
Ken
this
was
point,
saying, like the
yeah.
city is pretty bad
So
with all the immigrants coming up there.
yeah, I
And
know
saying that
there's I can see the influx just here now. Like after I talked to Ken, it was probably 2 or 3 weeks before I talked to Ken that I noticed how many people are here now.
mm-hmm.
Just it's gonna get crazy, and it's already crazy in the city.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
I think it just goes to the whole fact of like, I think that people are brave enough to start having these very uncomfortable conversations in a very public place, in a very public setting, where it's like, I'm genuinely asking you a question because I'm curious, because I want to know, I want to try to understand. We talk about this all the time, not necessarily saying that you're going to change my mind or change my beliefs, but what you're doing is you're giving me an opportunity to think things, to look at something differently. Like you said, like, oh, maybe I never would have thought of that. Maybe I wouldn't have thought of that before.
I just think it's okay to ask a question that you really don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if you sound, I guess, not PC or whatever. I think Piers's question was okay to ask. You know what I mean? Jeff, number 1. Unfortunately, it's not going to end. We need to work with Mexico to stop influx from Venezuela to Honduras. Yeah. I mean, from everything I've said, I don't know if Venezuela's gonna do it. I think, did they just get a new president? I'm not sure. I feel I'm not sure who just got a new president that was on our side, but I know somebody did. I don't know if it was Venezuela or not. But yeah, I feel you. I don't think it's gonna end either, and whatever president is elected, I don't think. I mean, I think maybe they can stop. I don't even know if they can stop sanctuary states at this point.
Mm.
So, but I know our, Governor Hochul and Mayor Adams are definitely going back on what they said at the beginning, which was like, "Hey, we're a sanctuary state. Come on in. Like, let's go, New York, blah, blah, blah." And then New York counties and things started saying like, "Nah, bro, we're not taking busloads of anything." And so now everybody's just kind of stuck in the city, and the city's kind of becoming a wasteland. And schools are, what did we just have? We just had the storm that we just had. and our kids couldn't go to school because they had to put migrants in the schools to be safe. So yeah,
Oh yeah, I remember that.
yeah.
I read that.
So, but yeah, and New York is getting,
A lot.
yeah, we're
Summer's gonna be worse.
there's a little bit keeping us from being California, but it's very little that's keeping us from being California.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, Piers raised a lot of interesting questions. I still want to get to, is it okay to ask questions about race?
Yes.
Like, most people want to call you a racist if you ask questions about race. What, like, if you're having a baby, if you're a mixed race couple, if whatever, is it okay to ask questions about race without being racist?
I mean, they ask
Like,
questions about race on applications all the time.
no, no, I'm more saying or less like, hey, Jeff, you like watermelons?
I do.
Is that okay for me to ask you if I generally just want, like, hey,
I mean, you can
heard
ask,
y'all like
and
watermelons?
I'm gonna be very stereotypical and say yes, yes, I do,
You like
and I like
purple
purple
drink?
drink. Yes, purple drink. Not grape, because grape we don't like grape. We like purple. Kool-Aid's good.
But that's the thing, like, could a white person ask you, like, if Pierce Morgan's asked you, do you like purple drink? Would you be like, yo, you're
I would.
fucking racist, or would
Nope.
you just be like, yeah, I do?
I personally would be like yes.
Because it's just a question they're asking. It doesn't have to be a
I mean,
racist
unless it
question.
was like fouled up with some like really racist remarks, and maybe I might think there's some more behind it. But
But I think that's a really good distinction you just made.
Yeah.
Racist remarks, not questions about race. If you come at somebody with racist remarks, then obviously the conversation's not going to be able to be had because people are going to feel attacked. It's going to come from a place of judgment and criticism and whatever. Where if you're genuinely asking a question about race, even if it is a stereotypical question, that might, for some people, might be more received. From someone like Jeff,
I think that's
he's not going to be bothered by you asking him a question. He's going to be bothered if you come at with him with derogatory remarks. That's different. But if you're taking the concept of derogatory remarks and putting it together with questions,
that's super blurry lines, though, because what do you take as a derogative remark? Like, people all day come up to me and say, like, sir, whatever. I could be super woke and just be nuts and be like, oh, you misgendered me 85 million times today. I'm going to yell at you. It was derogatory, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't, though.
Mm-hmm.
They just looked at me, called me what they thought they saw, which, fine.
Mm-hmm.
So I can react to that if I'm pissed off and I feel like being pissed off today, or I can just be like, yeah, sure. Like,
And
what's
keep it moving. Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
what's it derogatory? And that, I think that's what sucks the most. Derogatory is subjective. It's whatever whoever the person is in whatever state they're in finds derogatory,
Mm-hmm.
which is the problem at this point.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, people can be like, I find it derogatory that you don't allow your 7-year-old kid to swim with a 57-year-old man. You're racist. You're homophobe. You're whatever. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
My kid's 7. What?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like, so everything is super subjective now. And I just,
Yeah, the lines are so blurred and everything is just taken offensively.
yeah,
It just is. Like,
it doesn't matter. Like,
no, it doesn't matter.
I know Jeff and I can go ask Jeff any question I want and I know that he's going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't do that in front of anybody else.
Yeah.
I mean, now I would, but
Now you would.
before I wouldn't. Like now I don't care. Like today was the first day in the deli that when freaking Big Dan, and Big Dan is like, I don't know, he's probably in his late 60s, and he came in, he was like, "Hey, can I get a sprinkle of butter on my roll?" And I was like, "Gay." And he was like, "What?" And I was like, "Gay." And he was like, "I'm gonna come back there and show you what a sprinkle of butter is." And I was like, "Even more gay." And he just laughed and had a good time. Like, you don't know how, like, it is what it is. It's not, you know what I mean? And the fact that you have to be on eggshells 99% of the time just to ask a freaking question is just stupid. And
Jones.
Crowbar, I'm of the opinion that words are themselves not offensive, but it's the intention behind them that makes them offensive. As in, the person's intention is deliberately to be hurtful or offend. How do you figure that out, though? That's the and if it is, and they are intending to be hurtful, do you have to react to that? Do you have to be reactionary, or can you just be like, "Dude, that's a you problem"?
Yeah, I think you're right with that one. I don't think they got to react to everything. Every little thing in the fucking world, just react to it constantly.
I mean, that's exhausting.
It is exhausting.
For me, the thinking about it is exhausting.
It was exhausting. Speaking from someone that was offended all the time, like, it is exhausting. It's absolutely exhausting. And I think that that's where it becomes a person's choice to take it offensively or not. Because if someone is deciding to call me out my name, throw words at me, try to hurt me and whatever, I have the choice to allow it to ruin my day, or
you can still be offended by it, but it's like, I don't really care. I don't even know your face. I don't even know who you are. I won't see you again tomorrow. It's fine.
But that's the thing. How much time and energy and effort do you hold on to that shit? Like, if someone, that I randomly met one day and we happened to be in the same space and they found out I was gay and they're completely against that and they start going at me because I'm gay, is it going to be hurtful because someone's attacking part of who I am? Yeah, of course. But also at the same time, I don't know that person.
Yeah.
It becomes more hurtful when it's somebody that you know. It becomes more hurtful when it's somebody that you're close to, I feel. But that also goes down to the deeper conversation of, is it worth it to have a conversation with that someone, say, hey, listen, you know what you said was a little bit hurtful, and give you an opportunity to look at yourself and give that other person an opportunity to look at themselves and kind of see where the miscommunication was. Because maybe for them, they didn't think what they said was going to be offensive or hurtful. But again, when you get hurt, and babe, I think you've said this before, like, when you get hurt, that's something inside of you that you are hurt by. So what is that?
Yeah, I feel like you had to figure that out. Like, what was the trigger for what they said? Like, what did they say that triggered you so much that was so hurtful?
Yeah.
I mean, because at this point, if you want to be, and I don't know if you guys have heard this before, but at this point, it comes down to, if you want to be an ally, if you want to be an ally to the LGBTQ, if you want to be an ally to Black Lives Matter, Black people, blah, 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 you basically have to, like, hate straight white people. Which, I'm sorry, what? I've never in my life hated a straight person. I've never in my life hated anybody based on their skin tone.
That also is very interesting to me, because aren't they fighting? Aren't BLM, aren't LGBT
Mafia,
aren't they fighting for the exact thing that they're doing?
What do you mean? Palestine?
No, like, you don't want people to hate you for being who you are. But yeah, in order to be an ally, you have to hate somebody that is different than you.
Right. The difference
isn't that.
Yeah. What their thought process is, you have to accept us exactly how we are and love us exactly how we are. And you you can't disagree with anything we say, basically.
Yeah.
And if you disagree with anything that we say, then you're not an ally. And what they say is straight white people are bad. And
But again, believe and think that every single person in your life has to accept you 100% of who you are is a very, very high expectation.
they want non-judgmental, but then turn around and judge. Yeah,
Yep. Yep. That's exactly what I was saying.
The contradictions.
Yeah. Is that they don't want you to judge them, but they're going to judge you because
Yes.
you don't agree with exactly who they are.
who they are. Yeah.
Every single part of them.
And you know what? Well, I'm bringing everything into everything. I'm talking about politics. I'm talking about everything else. Might as well talk about religion.
Let's go. Let's do
And
it.
everybody wants to hate on religion so much, and I get why they want to hate on religion. I get all the stereotypes and whatever it is about religion. I don't hate on religion, and there are things in there that I definitely and judge not lest you be judged. And it's not my job to judge anybody. And for me, like, there's so many characters I could pick. You know what I mean? I don't dislike Charlemagne. I just
Mhm.
said that. I don't dislike him. I like watching his comedy. I think he's funny at whatever. When it comes to his politics and some shit, I don't agree. I don't have to.
Right. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Like, it's not like
And it doesn't make you a bad person.
and he's super liberal. I love Jason Whitlock. He's super conservative. And a black guy I don't agree with everything that he has to say, but I love a lot of the stuff that he has to say. It's not my plate. Like, you live your life, I'm going to live mine. If you want to, oh, here we go. You want to take abortion? Fine. Let's go into it. You can believe all you want. Abortion went from whatever you believe when it comes to abortion. Fine by me. Do you live your life how you want to live your life in whatever capacity you want to live it? I'm fine with it. I am not judgmental about it. Do you? The American people chose to elect Trump. Trump, in his 4 years, chose to put 3 conservative Supreme Court justices in the Supreme Court. Obama, in his 8 years, had a chance to put a liberal. This is why I love Piers Morgan. To put a liberal or a Democratic Supreme Court judge in there. He didn't. You're bad. Trump chose to. He did it, whatever. But at the end of the day, the people elected Obama when he was elected. He did what he did. The people elected Trump when he was president, and he did what he did. And here we are at this point. It's not. I'm not the judge, jury, and executioner. I'm just trying to have conversations. So
that's it.
There we go.
Conversation. Another hard conversation.
I like it.
To get people thinking, get people talking, coming to the table.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
You can be mad. I'm not saying you can't be mad, and you can have things that you want to fight for, and you can have
those are also parts of having very difficult conversations, is giving yourself permission to have emotions, and people saying things and you hearing things, and it's okay to have emotions on them. It's also not, but it's not okay to throw your emotions at someone else.
Yeah.
Just for simply having a question. And I think I said this earlier, and I don't remember the words that I used so gracefully earlier, but I think that there is a sense of like courtesy expectations that people have on someone else asking a question. You know, where it's like, my etiquette has to be so prestige to be able to ask you a question that I'm genuinely interested in getting your perspective on. And so if one word is wrong, if the tone is wrong, if anything in that question is wrong, then I get attacked. I get attacked with words, I get closed out, I get
Yeah.
shunned, I'm a phobia, but
Yeah.
whatever you want to put in front of it. Whereas to put that type of expectation on people, I think is unfair. I mean, baby, just in our marriage, like we have had multiple conversations with each other where I was like, fuck, I said that wrong. That's not what I meant. I said that wrong. It didn't come out the way that what I said didn't come out the way that I intended it to say because you didn't hear what I was trying to get you to hear of where I was coming from, and vice versa. Like, so to expect someone else to be coming from a very different perspective, a very different belief, a very different understanding, a very different family. I mean, my family, for instance, we never talked about politics. We never talked about finances. We never talked about the government. We never talked about the news. We just didn't. That wasn't part of the conversation.
Yeah, we were split down the middle too.
Yeah. So like coming into different relationships and growing up and becoming a parent, becoming a wife, becoming an adult, there's a lot of questions that I'm like, hey, I've never talked about this before, that I only feel comfortable talking to you about and asking you these questions because I know you won't judge me if I'm like, hey, can you explain that to me? Because I don't get that.
Yeah.
You know, and come across as almost naive in certain topics. And I don't think we give people permission to come off naive because a lot of us just don't know.
Yeah.
There are people that just don't know.
And that's okay. And you have to give them grace. And like you have to explain it to them. And if you start saying words like, oh, I gotta mansplain to you, or I gotta
womansplain,
like, yeah, or
girl math,
privilege splain to you, it's like, or somebody could just be asking genuinely because they don't know.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, I'm not asking you because I'm white. I'm not asking you because I'm black. I'm not asking you because I'm a woman. I'm literally asking you because I'm curious and I just don't fucking know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what? But you can't do that in this day and age.
Nope.
I think we're getting there, though. I think people are starting to ask.
Well, I think it's conversations like this. I think it's showing that we can come from two different walks of life. We can come from two very different experiences and journeys of life and be able to come to the table. Yeah. And I think that other people are doing that too. They're having the tough conversation. They're bringing the people on their platforms and being like, listen, you say this a lot. What does that mean? And they're open to have that conversation. And whether they walk away feeling like that they've learned something, they've heard something new, they're grateful for it, they're not. I think we all can learn something from each other.
Yeah.
You know, and at the end of the day, just don't purposely go out to hurt somebody. And I'm willing to have a conversation. I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to see things in a different perspective. And
yeah,
hopefully more people are.
Awesome. And we're going to start it. And Piers, Morgan, if you ever watch this, you're the GOAT.
If he ever watches it, come on.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, right.
But yeah, he is the GOAT. Again, don't dislike Charlemagne the God, but
he's another one that just challenges a lot of conversations, and not everybody is receptive to that. So
he's I don't know. I would love to. We'll get into this another day. It has to do with the Cat Williams thing. I definitely want to get into this where it's the industry plants
broke the internet.
Cat Williams is the gift that keeps on giving between Jason Whitlock and
I was going to say Jason
Smith.
Whitlock too, and all the things that you keep telling.
I want to get into that too so badly, but you want to take that check and you just want to say whatever the network wants you to say. Yeah, I don't think that's a conspiracy theory anymore. I feel like that's actually something that, I mean, as dirty as Hollywood is and as dirty as networks are, like, I'm not, I don't hate on Kevin Hart. I like Jumanji, like, whatever. I don't hate on, Stephen A. Smith. I like him yelling into the TV screen. I mean, I think he's woke as shit, but whatever. I also don't dislike Whitlock. I don't I like all like. Let's go. I'm ready for the beef.
I was like, but you're here for the drama.
Yeah, I'm here. I really am.
You're here for some
Yeah,
Petty Wap Wednesday.
Yeah,
and,
I really am. I'm here. I want to see who. I want to see who went for the Disney Plus. I want to see who went for the ESPN. You know, the
Plus.
ESPN Plus and the. You know what I'm saying with that plus, right? Because you know what that
Yes.
plus means. That Disney Plus,
Yep.
that ESPN Plus, that LGBTQ plus. Like I want to see who took those very fun little contracts. So
Maybe we'll get a list.
yeah, we'll get into that too. It's gonna be better than the. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun, but we're gonna figure it out.
All right.
All right, y'all. Thanks for hanging out. Jeffrey won. Thank you. Jody, I know you left, but thank you.
Crowbar
Appreciate y'all.
Jones.
Crowbar. Yeah.
Always dropping
Thanks
out.
you, homie. But yeah,
These kids will.
we're gonna get into the plus situation at some point.
Oh, the plus conspiracy.
The plus conspiracy. Yeah, I like conspiracy theories now. All right, y'all. Thank you for hanging out.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Ba-ba-da-ba.